Okay, so I have been getting a lot of questions on what does it look like over on Patreon? What does a typical week look like? What does a typical month look like? How do I even know if Patreon is something that I would be interested in? So I thought I would bring you guys along, give you a little sneak peek on what Patreon looks like, what we do in a typical week, in a typical month, and some of the perks that are happening over there so you guys could see if it might be a great community for you. And spoiler alert, I think it is a great community. It's a fabulous group of creatives that inspire each other and encourage each other. And I think it's just a fabulous vibe that's going on over on Patreon. And I want all of you guys to be a part of it. So let's go. All right, so as soon as you sign up for Patreon, a couple of things happen. You're going to be taken to a Patreon page. I'm going to show you that now. And there's a video that gives you a whole introduction into how Patreon works, what to look for, some of the important dates, things like that. To make sure that you're kind of oriented, you'll receive a message from me, usually within a day, welcoming you to Patreon and letting you know that I'm just so happy to have you. And then something else super cool happens. When you join Patreon, you also join my Patreon thank you board. This is just a really special board to me. All of these gorgeous, beloved society girls represent different patrons, and this is kind of my gratitude board. It helps me to really focus on the amazing community that is forming over on Patreon, and it just makes me smile every time I see it. So when you join Patreon, you will also get your little beloved society person on the board, and I'll post it on Instagram as a welcome to you. And it just brings me so much joy, and I hope it brings you so much joy to just be able to look and see that there's a ton of creatives out there in the world that get excited about the things we get excited about, that are passionate about pens and paper and stickers. And it's just a reminder that there's people out there just like you where you can really be yourself, and that has been really impactful for me. So this board has meant a lot. As soon as you join, you get to join the board. All right, so some fun things that happen over on Patreon. Let's start with the very beginning of the month. On the first of the month, there are a bunch of posts that go live over on Patreon, and here's what they look like. I will have a schedule, a calendar for the whole month so you can look ahead, see what's coming, kind of anticipate, put some of the Zoom calls and live streams and fun printables and things like that into your planner so you can always make sure to come back and check over on Patreon in case life gets busy. You'll have those dates and you'll be able to write them down and know what's going on and what's coming up. Another fun thing that happens at the first of each month is that's when I post our Patreon challenges. Now, throughout 2023, we are using this theme called Creative Me in 2023, and it is all about getting in touch with creativity in all kinds of different aspects and projects, and it's been a lot of fun. Our challenges for 2023, we have two that I release every month. The first is a doodle art challenge. So I release a prompt for every day, and patrons are having fun doing some doodling challenge. It is something that was like on my heart because art is not like the drawing, and that's not a specialty of mine and something I wanted to work on. And I love that these challenges are giving me permission to spend, a few minutes each day doing a little bit of doodling. So I have printables for those that I release every month to all patrons. And then we also have a lettering challenge that comes up every month, and this year we are doing lettering. We are lettering quotes, and we're kind of challenging ourselves to think outside the box. Instead of just lettering beautifully in a horizontal fashion, we're kind of lettering in all different ways, and it's been a lot of fun so far. I'm really enjoying it. So those two challenges are released at the first of the month along with the monthly schedule, and that really kicks our month off strong. So what happens in a typical week over on the Patreon? Well, every Monday I post a schedule for the week that gives my patrons just a reminder of what's coming up that week. Mondays and Tuesdays are always exclusive video days. So those are the days that patrons get exclusive videos, content that I will not be releasing over on YouTube, but they get access. Usually one of those videos is a crafting video, a journaling video, a faith planner video, a faith journaling video, an organization video, some sort of video that happens on Mondays that kind of encompasses all that my channel has included in the past, but it's a special video just for patrons. And then on Tuesdays, I release videos that have to do with our focus every month. So, like I said before, Creative Me in 2023 is a whole idea where we're just going to explore creativity. And so every month we are kind of focusing in on something different. In the month of January, it was all about organization and getting our spaces ready and a plan in place to stay organized over the long period. In February, the focus was love for lettering. We had hand lettering instruction, hand lettering printables, hand lettering tips, all of that goodness, and everyone was working on the hand lettering. And for the month of March, we are diving into creative journaling. So that means every Tuesday, I will be releasing a creative journal video just for my patrons, kind of diving into that topic and learning a little bit more. Also included every month are tips and tricks that have to do with our focus for that month, some extra posts and inspiration that are over on Patreon. There are also printables that are released every month. Sometimes they're functional, sometimes they're decorative, and sometimes they're both, but that would be content that is exclusive over there on Patreon. And the last little bit is some behind the scenes footage. My patrons and I are able to communicate in a way that is just amazing. We're constantly kind of chatting online, commenting back and forth, and I usually share some behind the scenes of what is going on. In fact, last month I shared an exclusive vlog that was like a day in the life, and I showed them what went into everything that I do over here on YouTube and Patreon, and I think that they really, really enjoyed that. Another special thing that happens over on Patreon is Happy Mail. So all of my patrons in 2023 are receiving a special little thank you every month. It is a thank you card from me and a sticker. And this sticker is kind of like a badge. It represents your month in Patreon, and we have this fun printable where you can keep track of the projects that you've done each month. So they receive this from me every month, and a lot of them are tracking it. You can see I have it in the back of my planner so I can check off every month of Patreon for 2023, working through all of these Creative Me projects, which has been super exciting. And then my top 2 tiers of Patreon not only receive that, but they receive additional Happy Mail from me. And it looks a little different every month. It is usually a handmade card with a note from me inside. This is a sample of what it looked like this month. And then they receive exclusive stickers. This month I went with alpha stickers because we were doing lettering all month. And so I thought these fun balloon stickers would be great for birthdays and celebrations. And then I just love varsity letter stickers. I think they are so cute. So I went with those as well. And then I've been working with my Glowforge and creating some fun projects. And so this month, all of the top 2 tiers of Patreon received this Keep It Creative pen that was Glowforged or engraved with my Glowforge. And I think it's a fun kind of reminder of one of my favorite things to say. So Happy Mail is another fun thing that happens. And of course, every now and then it changes up. We do some different things every month to keep it new and to keep it fresh. There is a lot that goes on over on Patreon, and because sometimes life gets in the way, something I do for my patrons is I kind of box up everything that we did that month around Creative Me in 2023, and I create a teachable course, which allows them to be able to go back and revisit those lessons at their own pace, kind of get into all of that content, and that's something I do at the end of the month. That way, if life got in the way, if things got busy, you can always go back and revisit that content, which I think is super important because sometimes we have to watch a few lessons over and over to really let them dig in. And sometimes life gets busy and we don't have time to get into the creative flow, but maybe come summer or spring break, you have time to kind of dig in. And so I think it's important to be able to go back and look at all of that material. Now, the last perk that I wanted to bring up is something I think my patrons really enjoy, and that's early access to content that is being posted over on YouTube. So as I film, my patrons get access to that in real time. So sometimes it's up to 2 weeks in advance, usually about a week in advance. And it's fun to kind of get their commentary on it before it goes live to the public. They're always a good barometer for how excited everyone else will be about YouTube, about a YouTube video. And so I like getting to post to them, and I think they really like getting those sneak peeks at videos before the rest of the world. As you can tell, I am really excited about everything that is happening over on Patreon. I have 5 different tiers starting as low as $5 a month. Plus, at any point, if you want to sign up for an entire year, you actually save 15% off of whatever the cost of that tier is. So that's a great way to save a little extra and to go ahead and make that commitment to yourself to really dig into your creativity for an entire year. And as a special bonus for the rest of the month of February, any new patrons in February are going to receive a very special sticker sheet just from me in their Happy Mail that really kind of encompasses all of my crafty loves. And I thought you all might enjoy that in some of your projects, in your planner. And so just a special little added bonus for all my February patrons. Anyone that joins in the month of February at any tier will receive that special sticker sheet. You can always find info about Patreon at the link in the description box that I will leave in this video. That is in all of my videos, so you can find me over on Patreon. If you have any questions or comments, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. You can also find me over on Instagram at ScrappyWife blog. If you want to contact me on there and ask me a question, I would be happy to answer. I hope you enjoyed this little sneak peek about what happens over on Patreon. I hope it gave you a little bit more insight, and I really hope that you have a fabulous day. And as always, keep it creative.